This review is brought to you by absolutely no one. We have no sponsors and no one cares. Hey guys, and welcome back to their Movie Mates video. I am Matthew, here with my wonderful co-host and best friend,
Callum.
Callum. Callum, talk us through what we're going to be discussing today.
Well, today we saw Hobbs and Shaw.
We did.
Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw.
We did.
to
It's a
give
very
it its full title.
uncharacteristic movie for us to see. Like, we don't usually see these sort of films.
No, I've never seen a Fast and Furious film. Have you?
I've only seen Fast 6.
Yeah, so it's very uncharacteristic of me.
And me too as well, but
I was excited to see it.
we always like to give things a go.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be dog shit.
Yeah,
And you'll hear our
thoughts. Stay tuned. Just before we start the episode, just want to thank everyone who's recently subscribed and who's liked and who's just given us views, because we really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And we really enjoy getting these episodes out for you guys. The next episode after this will be sci-fi
Yes.
podcast.
There may be a delay on that, perhaps.
Yes, probably.
Scheduling issues.
Scheduling issues. But we will try and get that out as soon as possible for you guys. So basically, it's just going to go same way as any other mini review, spoiler free and then spoiler.
Yes, I imagine briefer than usual.
Yes.
We don't have many thoughts. It's
No.
not a particularly spoilery film.
Not really, no.
It's kind of uneventful, you could say, but you'll hear our thoughts.
You will. So Callum, do you want to kick us off with spoiler free thoughts, whatever you've got chronologically then?
I mean, my first point is, how is this film good?
I know. I really
love this film.
I love it too. It's so good. It's not even so bad. It's good. It's genuinely a good flick. Like, it's not.
It could be argued that it's a generic plot. It's
Yeah.
people need to stop a virus. You know
Yeah.
that's a generic sounding synopsis, but I loved it.
It's just such like a great buddy cop film, and that don't really happen anymore.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know. Like, I think I would have loved it more if I'd watched the previous film, because then I would have had a connection to the characters. Like,
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of these two, like either Statham or The Rock, in a movie together, and I think they're great in this.
Yeah, I mean, we have no knowledge of the history of these characters, and
No.
we still find amazing joy in it.
Yes.
So you really don't need to see the Fast and Furious films to see this film.
No.
It might enhance it, but for me, I didn't really notice anything that there was no part of it that I lacked understanding in.
Like, I genuinely can't believe how I liked this film. Like, I really enjoyed it.
No, like I expected to turn around and say to you that I loved it, and you say you hated it, because we usually have completely differing opinions on films, but we both really enjoyed
Yeah,
this.
it was good. Like, I mean, do you want to go through performances, or we'll
Sure.
just go through your notes?
Well, we can start with The Rock and Jason Statham.
I think this is the best Rock performance I've seen in a while.
I would agree, yeah.
Like, he gives a sort of emotional sort of background to his character as we introduce his daughter in this film, and then
She's been in two
Oh, has
Fast
she?
and Furious films.
Oh well, okay. Well, it brings another sort of level of the character, I guess, and they expand upon that and his background and his home life and stuff, which I
Yes.
like. And Jason Statham's just like a really, I don't know, he's just a really good action actor. Like, I
Yeah.
don't think another actor will ever come around that's just like Jason Statham. Like, he's got a really great like Cockney British accent. It's just so
I don't
charismatic.
think there's someone who balances action and comedy the way he does.
Yeah, there's not. I don't think there's any jokes that he says that fall flat at all. Like, our
No.
cinema was quite. It wasn't exactly packed, but there's still laughter.
It was a bit talkative, our cinema. I was,
Was it?
Yeah, a few people on their phones, a few people chatting through
There
it.
were a few people on the phones. Yeah.
It's one of those films that I expected that in, though. It's kind of
Yeah.
what I would expect people to think it's sort of a throwaway film.
I will admit, like, I was checking my watch a few times. However, that was because
Absolute bastard.
the film does feel like two different movies.
Really?
After the second act for me, like the first and second act feel like, and this isn't a criticism necessarily, but the first and second act are very much self-contained, and nothing major happens really, and then the third act is just great.
We'll definitely hear about that in your spoiler thoughts.
Yes, absolutely. What about Vanessa Kirby then?
Then. She was excellent.
I thought she was good.
This is the first action role I've seen her in. She reminded me a bit of Black Widow.
I was actually about to say, like, I think she would have been a great casting for, like,
Yelena.
Yeah.
In the Black Widow film.
absolutely, like, I
Yeah.
think she really reminded me of Scarlett Johansson's
She's doing
performance.
a lot of scissor takedowns.
Yeah, she is, and it's like,
The Rock was enjoying them a bit too much.
yeah, it was. There's definitely though, like, I think she does most of her own stunts as well.
All the action is excellent,
Yeah.
which I was completely
There's
surprised
a, little,
by.
there's a little bit too much shaky cam at the end.
There's
for me.
definitely shaky cam, but I would prefer that over quick cutting where there's 30 cuts in one punch up.
I haven't seen as good a mix as a car chase and CGI in a while. Actually, the CGI was pretty flawless, I thought.
Yeah, speaking on that, there were there was a point in this film where I was thinking to myself, well, for a Fast and Furious film, the action isn't really that ridiculous. And then there's a moment where The Rock holds a helicopter.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a spoiler to say.
Well, we'll see. Well, as well, we're on that scene. There's a scene where Jason Statham and The Rock have to team up, and there's slow-mo shots of them getting punched. It's hilarious.
It's hilarious.
It is.
We
great.
were cracking up through that,
Yeah, we
and
were.
I think people were hardcore judging us,
Yeah, probably.
and
were.
I blame them.
Yeah.
But the music as well was surprisingly
There's
good
a
for me.
fantastic
Time in a
Time in a
Bottle.
Bottle remix, which I say is fantastic. I like the addition of it, but whether it's as good as the original, I mean, it's definitely not as good.
Oh,
as
it's
the
definitely not as good as
It's
the
fine.
original, but
it's good.
I love that song, and I think this cover was more appropriate to the scene it was playing over.
What are your opinions on sort of Ang Lee style comic book panels that for scene transitions? If you know what, do you know what I mean? Like
I do know what you mean.
quite
Sort
like
of on-screen text.
I think it
and
works in this film
paneling.
because it's silly, but it's supposed to be silly. So
Yeah, it works more for this film, I think, because it's supposed to. It knows what it is. This
Yeah.
film, and I respect it for that.
does it surprise you that there's an absence of any Fast and Furious characters? Like Vin Diesel doesn't make a cameo.
I mean, I was glad that it lacked that because it meant that I didn't require any prior knowledge.
Yes, that's true. Yeah,
So also, I don't like Vin Diesel.
mm-hmm.
I think that I will never see a Fast and Furious film that I enjoy as much as this.
Yeah,
Because this for me was just excellent.
I really liked it. Yeah,
I don't think any Fast and Furious film can live up to it. It's not really a Fast and Furious film, is it? I mean, I've written that there's only like 4 car chases, which sounds like a ridiculous statement because that's a lot.
That is a
But
lot.
for a Fast and Furious film,
I think 4 is a lot. I wasn't expecting as much as 4. I think it does well, and it actually makes sense where they add them in.
I wasn't. I was expecting like a ton of car chase
There's a
sequences,
there's
and
a really-
there isn't as many as I
There's a
expected.
fantastic one involving a car and a bike in London.
Yes.
There's also a probably even better one in a power plant, which
Yes.
is good.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as the action goes, I thought the action was great. CGI when used is pretty much on the whole pretty flawless. There are some scenes where
We can talk about that in spoilers.
yeah. I just wanted to mention criticisms. Plot's a bit generic, but we've sort of
Yeah.
covered that, and it's a bit like there's a bit of time confusion as to action scenes and weather changes.
I understand. Yes.
Which I mean, this isn't a spoiler, but for the third act, it's quite clearly
It suddenly goes from sunny
transitions from
to
sunny
torrential
to
rain.
torrential rain
within
to
about
sunny
30
again,
seconds.
but also from nighttime to
Daytime.
afternoon. You
Yeah.
know, it's weird. It's really strange.
It is. Yeah.
But I can forgive it for that. You know, it's a silly action movie. It is supposed to be a guilty pleasure, I would say. But for
Yes.
me, it's not a guilty pleasure. Like, I mean, it is, but like, I don't think it's bad.
No,
I
it's
think
not
it's
bad.
generally okay.
I want to talk to you about biotech because a lot of people were criticizing this film because they've said that the Fast and the Furious franchise is ridiculous, but it doesn't have superpowers. But I like the inclusion of a
I think this film
powered
actually,
bad guy.
as weird as I didn't think I would come out of this movie thinking this, but I think this film is sort of a commentary on like, you know,
Modern society's reliance on
and
technology.
how humans push that to the
Yes.
extreme. I don't
Sort
know
of Frankenstein level.
yeah, I don't know if I'm thinking too much into it, but I definitely got those.
Probably.
I definitely got those undertones in it, you know.
Mhm.
But I that's why I enjoyed.
Yeah, I really like seeing bio enhancements.
Yes.
I think that's
And
a more interesting take
I mean-
than just saying he's superpowered.
When we're talking about Idris Elba, I mean, I think his performance is for what it is. It's good.
He's barely in it. I think he's definitely underutilized
Okay. that's
because
interesting.
I think he has a really great performance, but I do think he's underused.
And I like the way they don't take his superpowers superpowers to the extreme. Like he's,
No,
he's
it's-
not that much enhanced. If
Yeah,
anything,
it's
he's just like
a
Terminator.
bit stronger. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I really liked the locations,
Okay, yeah.
especially Samoa, which
Yes.
we see.
I don't think that's shot in Samoa though.
No, but I would imagine that the exterior shots are
Yeah.
of Samoa, and that's what I find beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned this to me as soon as we came out of the cinema about how much London is a main pivot for this film.
Yes.
How much is in it, and then we also see Moscow, which is it's nice scenery as well. But yeah, the Samoa landscape is great in this, and there's some really nice shots as well.
Certainly.
One of my favorite scene in the film is when it's just Luke, Hobbs, and Jason. Oh, what's his?
Deckard Shaw.
Yeah. Sorry, no. Oh, what's his sister called?
Hattie.
Yeah. And they're just like on a mountain, just drinking beers.
Yeah.
It's a nice scene. It's really well shot, like really well shot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, apart from that, Yeah, just not much else to say about the film for me. I just really liked it.
Yeah. Well, one big question, Matthew. Massive hit or piece of shit?
I want to say massive hit.
I'm gonna say massive hit. It's excellent.
And before we conclude it, we have to say this in unison. The Idris Elba line. On
Black
Black Superman. I loved it.
There was a point where I was so worried that was taken out of the film.
Yeah.
Because there was a point where he was sort of, he was kind of monologuing, and I thought he was building up to "I'm Black Superman,"
Yeah.
and then he didn't, and I looked at Matthew and I looked a bit sad.
He did.
But
He looked a little sad.
we got it. We got it.
You did, yes.
So
That's such a good line.
That concludes our non-spoiler
That
thoughts.
does massive hit.
Massive hit.
Yeah.
So let's move on to our spoiler thoughts. What did you think of the beginning of the film where it shows their lives paralleled in split screen?
I really like that. It's a little cheesy, but
It is a little cheesy, but yeah, I like seeing how similar they are.
I've never noticed this. I think Jason Statham might be my new man crush. He's such a stylish guy and pulls it off so well.
He is a man who suits a suit.
Oh yeah, he does. And a sports car.
Yeah.
Can I just say, I'm not sure whether this was intentional, but I noticed the exact same costume and scene layout of Jason Statham's parallel as the Kingpin in Daredevil season 1. You know the way Kingpin makes an omelet in like silk pajamas?
Yeah. No, I noticed that
It
as
was
well.
exactly the same.
I don't think that's intentional.
You don't think that's intentional?
No, I don't.
But it was so similar.
But what all that I could think at that moment was, isn't Deckard Shaw a criminal? Why is he leading a better life than Luke Hobbs?
Yeah.
Like I would have I mean, I'd much rather be like, just when it was raining, I was just like, oh, that looks
Is his
great.
name Deckard?
Deckard.
I thought he was Declan.
Declan?
Yeah.
No. But yeah, which life from that would you want to lead more?
Jason Statham.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, like The Rock seems nice, but there's something about like rainy English weather that I quite like.
Yeah, just the idea of just being an umbrella and heading to the pub.
Yeah, like I was.
Also, just how it paralleled, like Luke Hobbs just has no one in his bed, and then Jason Statham's just had sex with someone.
Yeah, even there's a weird romance with him and the Russian woman that goes nowhere, which is strange.
Also, I was like, in that moment, I was like, okay, Jason Statham's a good-looking guy, but would he get Aiza Gonzalez?
Yeah.
Really?
I think so. Yeah.
Because she is like one of my she's like up there in my
Okay.
Film star crushes.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Have you seen Baby Driver?
No.
She is excellent in that film.
Okay.
Uh,
Performance-wise, or
Sure.
One thing I wanted to mention is I don't know if these characters are part of the Fast and Furious franchise, but cameos from Ryan Reynolds and Kevin Hart, I loved it.
No, they're not from any films, but
I didn't know he was in this movie, either of them.
well, yeah, the really unexpected one was Ryan Reynolds. For me, Kevin Hart was just unfunny,
Really?
as usual. Yeah.
As usual.
Yeah.
You don't like Kevin Hart?
No, not really. He's a bad dude. I don't
Is
like
he?
him.
Yeah.
Adulterer.
Oh really?
Yeah.
See,
don't
I
like
think
him.
he's good in Central Intelligence, which is another team up here.
He's alright, yeah.
I don't know if him and The Rock are is that what they're doing from now on? Like they're just gonna do like buddy cop movies as well.
I think that was an inclusion because they're friends, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're obviously in Jumanji together.
Yeah, but I think he's good. I think Ryan Reynolds has some.
He was a highlight.
He like this is probably the funniest I've seen Ryan Reynolds since Deadpool.
I'd probably agree, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's as funny in Deadpool 2. I'll be honest. I think here all of his jokes land.
And he doesn't really get his time to improvise in Detective
No,
Pikachu.
not at all. But here is great. Do you think most of those lines are improvised?
In this film,
Mhm.
I'd say probably
Good.
some of them.
There's good CGI in the tattoo as well.
Well, I imagine it's prosthetic.
Oh, you think?
Well, that's how they put tattoos on actors. They do prosthetic.
Okay.
But still,
A weird scene.
they never actually say, is that a real tattoo? Because
Yeah.
if it is, that's way too intense.
Yeah. Like,
He's definitely taken that too far.
do you think that Luke Hobbs' daughter is a good actress?
I mean, for a child actress, I didn't find her noteworthy, which is good for a child actor.
Okay, that's fair enough. Yeah.
These days, either they're terrible or they're not.
She's not as bad as some performances I've seen. So.
What was your issue?
I just thought like some.
Unenthusiastic?
I thought a bit unenthusiastic, and I thought, for what it was worth, some of the jokes involving, like, obviously the end credit scene is funny, but I thought some of the jokes about like Game of Thrones were a little overplayed.
Oh, certainly.
Really unfunny.
There are a lot of one-liners in this film. Like the overall plot, I found great.
Yeah.
The dynamic between all the characters is excellent, but a lot of the one-liners just fell flat for me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
When they're just standing at each other, like saying, "Oh, I'm gonna shove this up your asshole." Like, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
I'm like, okay, you've said that 4 times.
Did you want to mention the Statham C word?
Yeah, me and Matthew are both in agreement that Jason Statham said the C word.
Yeah.
And if that did happen, this should not be a 12A.
No, absolutely not.
Instantly, in any other film I've seen, if it has the C word in it, it instantly gets a 15.
Mm-hmm. I don't even. Deadpool has it once, I think.
I don't
Sorry, Deadpool 2. Deadpool 2 has it
Yeah,
once.
Deadpool 2 does. Yeah, and Kick-Ass has it once or twice.
Yeah.
But yeah, this film, if that happened, this film probably shouldn't be a 12A.
Yeah.
Because I have no problem with swearing, but I would imagine a lot of parents would be upset by that.
Yeah, although there wasn't that many kids in our screen. There was just like maybe
No,
a few 14-year-olds.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe is the youngest, but I mean, mostly it was like 20. I would say the average age on the screen was like 20, and this was opening night.
Yeah,
Not really, not
there was a
opening
lot
night.
of shuffling about and chatting.
There
Though,
was
did
a
you
lot
not
of,
notice
I
that?
would say there was definitely a lot of like no, I don't want to say discomfort, but people were probably a bit agitated, getting a bit bored. Like it was 2 hours 15. That was quite a long film.
It is quite a long film. There were a few false endings where I thought, okay, this is the final battle of
Yeah,
the
I
film.
mean the power plant scene. That's why I was.
And then
alluding to.
there's like 45 minutes left.
Yeah. Then there's a really good. Well, I don't know if it's good or not, but it's a weird montage in Samoa where they're like setting up everything, which is I guess is pretty cool.
Oh, do you mean where like they're just like doing zoom in and zoom out shots?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
I don't dislike it because it's sort of this surreal world that they've set up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just throughout the film, I was thinking, oh wow, nothing really ridiculous has happened, and then just the Rock is
catches
like,
a chain.
the Rock is like falling on guys from hundreds of meters up on a building, and then he's catching a helicopter,
Yeah.
and then he's catching Vanessa Kirby when she's throwing herself out of a car.
Yeah. True.
I mean,
I think most of the action is.
I believe the Rock could do those things.
Yeah, he's a big guy. He's a big guy.
Yeah. So yeah, I suppose that's the thought. Yeah. So do you want to talk about the final fight scene?
I thought the
Hilarious slow mo.
Yeah, the hilarious slow mo, but just before that, like in general, like the Samoa one.
Yeah.
Actually, one thing I did want to mention that I didn't put down in my notes is that when the doctor has an ex machina with a flamethrower, he's burning everyone. That was good. But yeah, the Samoa fight scene, I thought, good. But what ruined it for me is the inconsistencies of when it was set. I mean, it just changed from literally
Like it was
12
it was
a.m.
sunset and then it was torrential rain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I don't feel that this film took place over 72 hours.
No, it doesn't feel like that at all. Does
It feels like it was like 4 or 5 days, and they specifically say that she will die after 72 hours.
Yeah.
And that's actually not. It's 72 hours after she injected herself, and the film doesn't even start with the characters until like the day after.
Yeah, it's weird.
So that means that the dynamic between Hobbs and Shaw only took place for probably 48 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And
There's
that,
a lot to.
and I don't believe that.
40 hours. Yeah, that's a bit unrealistic, I guess. But yeah, I mean, one thing I did like is just the Samoan people.
Yeah.
I assume all those actors are from Samoa.
I mean, we just laughed when like The Rock came out shirtless, and then he
has this weird like tile
the
that's
skirt.
Yeah, it's so strange.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to say, like, you're doing like this display of like anger and like a wartime tradition. You should probably like start shooting, like start like beating them up before their guns activate again.
Yeah, no, just The Rock is like whispering for like a minute and a half while Brixton is just respectively not shooting him.
Because The Rock is from Samoa, isn't he, originally, or his family's heritage is from Samoa.
I believe so.
Yeah, I mean that's a cool.
Is Samoa?
So I think Samoa.
Is that in Hawaii?
Samoa's. I think Samoa's. It's definitely an island in the Pacific. Yeah.
Okay.
But one thing I would probably say. I would say as.
Would you say, I would call myself an ice cold can of whoop ass?
Ice cold can of whoop ass. Yeah, that was funny. I like that. Ice cold.
Ice cold.
But yeah, one thing I wanted to mention is because The Rock and Jason Statham co-produced this, I assume The Rock said, okay, for my act, I would like that to be set in Samoa, and Statham said, okay, for my act, I want it to be set in London. Would you say that's correct? Because, I mean,
maybe. Maybe they didn't request that, but maybe they were like, oh, to give equal respect to the two of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I would say this film's very much a rock film rather than a Jason Statham.
I think it's a rock film, but it's also more of an English film.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
It is tonally odd in that sense.
It kind of reminded me of like a Johnny English style film in a weird way.
In some ways, yeah. I suppose.
But yeah, it was quite a spy-oriented film, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which I'm not complaining. I quite liked it.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much else to say apart from Peter from Deadpool 2 is in this as well.
Which I
I
did
wouldn't
not
be
pick up
surprised
on.
if he was the villain.
Oh yes, we have to talk about. There's an evil presence behind Brixton called the Director, I believe.
Yeah.
And there's a moment. Well, there are several moments where we see their voice disguised, and the voice modulation drops, and it sounded exactly like Ryan Reynolds to me. And
I didn't catch it.
And I thought at the end of this film it was going to be revealed that Ryan Reynolds was the director. Please comment if you agree with me.
I think it would be that guy who plays Peter in Deadpool 2.
Really?
I think he's gonna be the director.
How good would it have been if it turned out that Ryan Reynolds was the villain behind the whole thing?
I think I would have elevated the movie to like
excellent,
borderline excellent. Yeah.
I'm 100% sure that was Ryan Reynolds' voice that was being modulated.
Well,
no, to me, like I haven't researched this.
Yeah. Do you have anything else? I mean, what?
Well, I just wanted to talk about the visual parallels between the deactivate or the decommissioning of Brixton and the death of Roy Batty in Blade Runner, which
I've noticed. I haven't seen it.
You'll be watching it for our sci-fi
episode. Coming soon.
Coming soon, guys. Yeah. Turn on notifications, guys. But yeah, it's a real visual similarity.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Does he break his back in that scene or not? I can't remember. No, he didn't.
In Blade Runner?
No, in Idris Elba.
No, he falls back into the waterfall.
He's probably 100% dead. No.
Yeah, but just the phrase decommissioning is synonymous with replicants in the Blade Runner franchise, and also just the rain was pouring, and I thought he was gonna do a monologue similar to Roy Batty.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Tears in Rain monologue that I always reference.
Yeah.
Because I love it so much. So I was hoping for a cheeky monologue.
Yeah.
Right before he died, or for him to say, "Time to die," but he said he was like, "Oh, that's how it is it?"
Yeah.
And then he like just falls into a waterfall.
I think Idris Elba is in this movie quite a lot. I know you said
really?
He's not, but I think he's in this like a good lot, and I think he's great in this.
I agree.
I really want him to either be John Stewart Green Lantern in a potential DC film or James Bond.
Yeah.
You know,
I think he's kind of done with superhero roles.
You think?
Yeah.
After Green Lantern. Oh, sorry, not Green Lantern. After Thor.
I think you said Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance.
Oh yeah, I forgot he's in that.
Yes.
He's not good in that, is he?
No. I want to talk to you about just, it feels like there was way too much after the credits.
Yeah.
Because everyone just started to leave, and there was another scene, and then more people would start to leave. There was another scene.
It was such an abrupt ending. I thought, oh, maybe it's gonna cut back to
just
like
them walking
Ryan
down
Reynolds
mountain.
or his daughter, or like the romance between The Rock and Vanessa Kirby. It just doesn't.
No, it just doesn't.
But no, here, you know, I thought it was for what it was. The film was way better than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, 100%. That concludes all my thoughts on the film.
Mine too.
So,
I'll let you do the outro since you're a pro.
I'm a pro now. I did my first outro like a big boy the other day.
Yeah,
well,
shoot, go ahead.
That was our thoughts on Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. Thank you very much for listening. We love you.
We do.
We respect you. We hope. Matthew questioned that.
No, of course.
We hope you. We have Tobey Maguire, my beautiful cutout, set up right beside us. So I'm glad that you listened to this. I hope you share it with others. I hope you enjoyed the video.
Thanks very much for watching, guys. And yeah, we'll catch you later with another podcast episode 11, Sci-Fi.
Yes. Yeah. See you guys soon.
See you guys. Take care.
Bye.